Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to our monthly Roost Home Loan Affordability Report, brought to you in association with Roost Mortgage Brokers. This is a report we compile here at interest.co.nz which looks at home loan affordability, in particular the percentage of your after-tax pay you need to service an 80% mortgage. And we look at it for different types of buyers. A typical home buyer, someone with a single income looking to buy a median priced house. We also look at first quartile home buyers, both those with a single income and those with a double income. And we take into account what's happening with house prices, what's happening with interest rates, and also with wages, just to give you a compilation of the factors driving home loan affordability. And every month we look at right throughout the nation what's happening market by market and what's happening nationally. And what we've found in May is that home loan affordability nationally has deteriorated somewhat. Let's have a look at our chart, which you can see at the bottom of the story. It's an interactive chart, and it has both the national regions and, of course, the individual regions. Now let's have a look at the New Zealand market overall. And you can see here we've been bumping along around about the 50 to 55% of after-tax pay needed for a median income to support a mortgage on an 80% mortgage on a median priced house. And it's deteriorated slightly, so it's gone from 53 to 53.6 or so in the last month, bouncing around, not too much of a change. And the reason for that is we saw a slight increase in the median house price. We've seen pretty flat interest rates over that period. Remember, this measure looks at the floating mortgage rate, which hasn't changed overall. However, when you go back over a longer time frame and look at what's happened to affordability over the last 7 or 8 years, you can see here there's significant movement. So affordability worsened through 2005, 6, 7 as house prices rose sharply and interest rates increased. Then we saw a sharp improvement through 2008, 2009, obviously as interest rates dropped from around 9, 10% to around 5, 6%. Then house prices rebounded a bit through late 2009 into 2010. Then interest rates fell again as we went through 2010 into 2011. House prices were pretty much flat. And we're sort of bouncing along around about the 50-55% mark for a single income. But when you have a look at what's happening with first home buyer affordability, which is where you look at the first quartile house price and a median income for someone who's quite young, you can see that a little bit cheaper, around the 40 to 45% mark for the nation. Now, obviously, a lot of people are buying with two incomes. And for two median incomes, for people in that younger age group, it's relatively affordable in most parts of the country. Around about 21, 22% of after-tax pay needed to service a mortgage, an 80% mortgage on a first quartile house. Of course, it's different market by market, and you can see here that Auckland obviously is the most expensive for a single first home buyer, up around 60 to 70% of after-tax pay. Obviously that's unaffordable in Auckland for someone on a single income, a single median income. Now once you're on a higher income and you've got two incomes, then it becomes more affordable. But then you have to be aware of the risk of perhaps losing a job or someone getting pregnant or house prices falling. And what's interesting at the moment is that there's plenty of action in the housing market. A shortage of supply of properties, particularly in Auckland and Christchurch, and plenty of credit coming into the market. The banks are out there keen to lend. And Colleen Dennehy at Roost Mortgage Brokers is saying that the banks are competing hard for business and trying to help particularly first home buyers get into the market using their KiwiSaver deposits, relatively low interest rates, and some of them are offering deals on fixed mortgage rates and on fees and various other costs to try and get you into the market. But obviously, it's an interesting time in the market with house prices in Auckland and Christchurch rising again, with interest rates appearing to stay low for quite some time. Most economists don't expect interest rates to rise until next year sometime, and when they do, it won't be too much of a rise. So an interesting time for people thinking about buying their first home, or those people who are already in the market. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was the Roost Home Loan Affordability Report for May, brought to you in association with Roost Mortgage Brokers. I'm Bernard Hickey for interest.co.nz.